It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked on Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. And joining me today, as always, is Landon McCool. You can check him out on Twitter at McCoolBCB. You can also listen to him on the Best Coast Boys podcast. Landon, what is going on, sir?
Not much. We're inside a week. It's Friday, the last weekend before draft week. We are probably destroying the mock draft simulator servers as we constantly refresh them and try to get a better slate of picks so we can get a 10. I know me personally, I keep just refreshing it over and over again until Penei Sewell or Pitts falls to me at 10. So we'll see if unfortunately we can't do that. Yeah, unfortunately we can't do that in the real draft. But I just like to experience success before I get let down on draft day.
Yeah, so speaking of mock draft simulators and Penei Sewell, Landon, we're going to do our third mock draft simulator today. Not our third of the draft cycle, just our third on the podcast, right? Because I'm not exaggerating. I've probably done 3,000 of these so far. They're just so much fun. But we've always, the last two, we've had a certain scenario kind of play out that we've wanted to navigate through and decide, how it would impact the Cowboys. Today, we've got a very interesting one. We are going to pretend that Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle from Oregon, would fall to the Cowboys at number 10. It sounds like, Landon, that is becoming more of a possibility as we're seeing more teams love Rashawn Slater. We're seeing maybe the Bengals lean towards taking Jamar Chase at number 5 instead of a tackle. So it's certainly not improbable. I'm not sure how likely it is, but we need to be prepared. And we actually talked about the scenario a little bit on yesterday's podcast, how we think the Chargers, who desperately need a left tackle and would love to pair Justin Herbert with his former teammate Penei Sewell. Would they be interested in coming up a couple spots? That's the scenario we're going to play out in this mock. So any thoughts, any comments before we go ahead and start?
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers are going to need to blow me away with this offer to move away from Penei Sewell. But I think it's something that we should look into. I assume that the Cowboys are looking into this kind of situation where they get to 10 and they have multiple choices that they like. Is there a trade down option to still get someone that they like in the top 10, but also pick up a pick on the way? I think it's a smart strategy that hopefully the Cowboys can employ.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to the simulator, Landon, and here we go. So it's wrong background there. All right, so again, if you are listening to this on the podcast, we are going to do our best to try to describe what's going on. For the visual, come check out the YouTube page. Come look at WFAA. We'll have it on there. So in this mock, Landon, we have Kyle Pitts gone. It says Penei Sewell's gone. We're going to pretend that he's there. We're going to swap him and Rashawn Slater. So again, remember this mock, Slater is Sewell.
Just pretend with us, guys.
Yeah. Just pretend. And listen, maybe there's a case where they want to get Slater anyways, and we don't know, right? Maybe they actually have Slater higher, so it doesn't really matter. On the board for the Dallas Cowboys, though, to pick here at number 10, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn is available, Micah Parsons, and obviously the offensive tackle. So first and foremost, you're not trading away from this spot unless you're absolutely blown away, correct?
Yeah, and I might even go as far to say that I think I would be wary to trade away from the spot unless all 4 of those 4 guys were there, right?
Well, that's really the thing, right? If you have Sewell and you have Surtain and Horn, at least those 3, I would say the odds of one of those 3 getting to you at 13 is pretty good, right?
Yeah, and I think if you had all 4, if somehow you got to 10, and I can't think of a scenario off the top of my head unless one of those receivers goes higher than we think, where all 4 were available to you at 10.
Slater, Sewell,
Horn, and Surtain. If somehow all 4 of those guys made it to 10, I'd be all in on trading back because
only 3 are available here, though. Does that make you nervous?
It does. It does make me a little bit nervous. I don't know that it would deter me necessarily from doing the trade, but I mean, look, you're trading back 4 spots and you've got 3 players you like. All it takes is the other 3 teams to like the players that you like the same amount. So there is some risk involved here. I think you need to have really good intel on what the guys, the teams beneath you are feeling and their strengths and weaknesses and what they're looking at. But if you have the intel and you feel comfortable that one of those 3 is going to fall to you, picking up an extra. I mean, we're hoping to pick up an extra day 2 pick. I would love to pick up 2 extra day 2 picks if possible. Sure. But yeah, I think it's worth at least exploring.
I actually don't worry about the Giants picking a corner after us because I think they've got bigger needs, especially like in the front 7. From Dave Gettleman's press conference the other day, it sounds like defensive tackle and edge is really where they're looking. Please take Kwity Paye. But
what they've also
Yeah,
the Eagles, but also the Giants have talked about trading back. That's actually kind of where I might have some concerns is if the Giants trade back because there's a team that sees Slater or Surtain or
Dave
Horn
Gettleman
falling.
Has never traded back in the history of him being a GM.
You're right.
In any round.
He's never done it ever. He said that he might do it this year. So if the bonus that he screws the Cowboys, like it may actually happen. So I'm allowed to be a little nervous about this, but let's go ahead and do this.
All right. So let's go ahead and make our offer for the Chargers. You say 13, 47, and 97. So that would be an extra 2nd and 3rd round pick. I've got to believe the Chargers are going to decline this, but I think that has to be the first offer, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You gotta over ask first just to see.
Shocker. They said no.
All right. So let's take 97 away and see what they say.
Okay. We've offered 13 and 47 and they said no. How about this one, Landon? And that's not that surprising. You're only going up 3 spots. I would guess that the Chargers would actually offer 77, probably standalone, but I think we should offer 77 and 97.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the offer. And nothing.
Oh.
Do you want to try one more, just 77?
Yeah, let's try just 77.
Okay. Still nothing. So let's just talk. We can force this trade. It'd be fun. But do you think the Chargers would do this trade? Do you think the Cowboys would do this trade?
Yeah, I mean,
77 for 10. In
this situation, again, we're trying to fudge this. It's Sewell that's there. It's not Slater.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that they would put up the capital to go get Slater for sure. I mean, to get Sewell for sure.
I believe 13 and 77 is pretty close in the trade value chart. We were looking for a massive overpay. Obviously, the simulator did not agree with us, I think because Sewell wasn't available. But if push came to shove, Landon, 13 and 77 for 10, assuming you can still get one of your cornerbacks, still not that bad of a move. I know our friend Daniel says that, that would a lot of times these teams over ask for trades when, hey, picking up an extra top 100 pick by moving down a couple spots, it's actually a pretty good deal for the Cowboys. So I say we go ahead and do it, and we'll see who's available for the Cowboys at 13. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, this isn't the real draft but if this is the real draft, I'd be like gritting my teeth for these picks.
Okay. And all right. Well, we got sniped a little bit, but I think we're okay. But before we talk about what the Cowboys do here in the pick number 13, I wanted to tell you guys about Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, MLB, and NHL are in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bets, and it's free to sign up. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just make sure you're using that promo code LOCKEDON. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Landon. So at number 11, the Giants go risky, and they go Caleb Farley. At number 12, another cornerback, and it's Patrick Surtain. We get the Cowboys here. J.C. Horn is available.
We got really lucky, man. We got really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's partly what would happen. So I'm assuming that J.C. Horn would be the pick here, but let's flip this. What if J.C. Horn? No, what if J.C. Horn goes 11 to the Giants and Surtain goes 12 to the Eagles? What would you do then? What would be your next move?
My next move would be throw up my hands and walk out of the draft because I'm so upset. Honestly, I think at this point you would look at a couple different things. You'd look and see. So let's say Horn's not here, right? We're saying that Horn was picked with Farley there.
Yeah.
I think at this point you talk about potentially trading again. See if you could trade back again because
it is worth noting Mac Jones is there, right? And that would be the team like maybe Chicago, maybe Washington would try to jump up ahead of New England, right?
I would start whipping the phones up between New England and Chicago. I would just kind of reiterate again, hey, we've talked to Chicago about trading down to 20. No. The fact that he fell down to here, obviously you've got New England coming up at 2 picks at 15. You could probably convince Chicago to make a big trade.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably use that the idea that Chicago might make a big trade as leverage against New England to try to do a small trade. And then you could probably fold back and get someone like, well, in this case, Caleb Farley would still be available, right? So you could probably go back to get somebody at Farley like at 15. You could get Barmore, you could get Ojulari, you could get. I mean, there's lots of Darisaw if you wanted to go that route. Yeah, I mean, so I think there's lots of opportunity here if that did happen. But I think I'd still be I'd be pretty upset if we lost J.C. Horn. And if all 3 of those guys went 1, 2, 3, or after we traded out, I would have been pretty devastated.
Yeah, I also want to mention, it sounds like, at least from what I've heard the last couple of days, Landon, is that the Jets are very interested in moving up inside the top 15. It sounds like they want to get a offensive tackle to kind of pair with Mekhi Becton to protect Zach Wilson. We're not going to do it in this mock, but it's interesting that the Jets are interested. If you click the little trade column here, they're the team with the most interest, and you can see what they have on the board. They've got 23, 34, 66. If they're willing to give up 23 and 34 to come up to 13 to get, in this case, a Christian Darrisaw or maybe an Elijah Vera Tucker who is still on the board, that's really, really intriguing. Again, we're not going to do it in this one. I've got a feeling the Jets are going to be aggressive here. So
I wouldn't be surprised though if, like, let's say in this situation, the negative, let's say Caleb Farley is actually J.C. Horn in this pick, and it goes right after we trade out of 10. It goes Slater, Caleb Farley, Slater, Horn, Surtain, right in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think you look at those kind of trades, right? Because you're kind of at that plateau of players, right? That extends from the bottom of the first to the mid of the second round. I think you try to trade back and get what you can, and just realize, okay, the gambit didn't quite work the way we wanted it. Let's get some more value by trading back and still getting a guy we like, but while also getting a couple extra bites at the apple.
I'm going to ask you right now, if this trade was available, 23 and 34 for 13, would you do it?
I think I would if I was wiped, right? If it went wiped, Slater, Horn, Surtain, and we were done, then all of our top 4 guys were gone, then yeah, I probably would do this trade.
All right, so let's just go ahead and make the pick. It's J.C. Horn, the cornerback from South Carolina. We would be very, very happy with that. I want to stop this, Landon, as we get into let's stop it after pick 24. Mac Jones.
Ooh.
All right, so we picked up an extra pick 77. So now we've got 44, 75, 77, 99, 115, and a bunch of day 3 picks. So this is the added benefit of moving down a little bit. You can be super aggressive going to get guys that you like. And I want to look at the board really quickly. Here's the guys that went off the board after we picked Micah Parsons, Kwity Paye, Christian Darrisaw, Elijah Vera Tucker, Trevon Merrick, Christian Barmore, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Rashad Bateman, Samuel Cosby, Jalen Phillips, Mac Jones. Are you interested in going up to get anybody in particular?
Newsom's still there, right?
But we
already got Horn though. We got Horn. Can we look at what's available real quick?
I don't believe they let me look at who's available. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you. So, Zaven Collins is still there. If you want to go,
Zaven Collins still there.
Azeez Ojulari, I believe, is still there.
Yeah.
I think
Morig is gone.
Merrig is the guy that I
Merrig,
think
sorry.
they would maybe like to go up and get, but he goes at number 18 in this mock. So Zaven Collins, Ojulari, are you going up for either one of those guys in this class?
I mean, I've done it before with Ojulari. And I think they would probably be interested in Zaven Collins. So I think it's possible that they move up for one of those two guys.
All right. What do you want to wait till we get to Baltimore, who is notorious for trading down?
Yeah, let's see what happens the next two picks. Okay.
Gregory Rousseau goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Azeez Ojulari goes to the Cleveland Browns, and Zaven Collins is still available. But are you interested in trading up for Zaven Collins?
They might be.
Okay.
So
do you want to kind of just send out a rough 44 and 77?
Yeah, let's see that.
Okay. Now again, this is basically like almost like a free pick you got because you still got the corner you wanted, and you still have 44. So let's go ahead and offer 44 and 77 for 27. Let's see what the Baltimore Ravens say. They said yes. We are on the board, Landon. So Greg Newsome, Elijah Moore, Jason Owa, Terrace Marshall, all of these guys, but the guy that we trade up for is Zaven Collins. I think this is a part of the draft where I'm okay with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially since it's free, essentially. you got the player you wanted. You moved up from 44 with a pick that wasn't yours, that you really never had plans for. You still get your 75. You still get your 99. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me that.
All right.
Give me that.
So let's go ahead and make this pick. We're gonna let the simulator play out a little bit. We'll see who's on the board at 77 or 75 and 99, Landon. But
yeah,
so far, I mean, again, pretty good mock. If you come out with your first two picks with J.C. Horn and Zaven Collins, and you still have all these other picks to address your defense and the offensive line, you're feeling very happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, we took on a lot of risk for those three picks. But it looks like it may have paid off a little bit with the ability to kind of be a little flexible, move around up and down the board and get the guys we like.
All right, let's take one more quick break and then we'll finish out this mock. I want to tell you guys about Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar out there. It's hard to even explain it. It's real chocolate with amazing flavors, and it's a great combination of low calories, high protein, and low sugar with no crazy additives. Best of all, they taste absolutely fantastic. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKEDON15 and you'll get 15% off your next box. Again, that is BuiltBar.com. All right, Landon, as a tradition here on the Locked On Cowboys podcast, Jamin Davis and Calvin Joseph are still available. I actually saw it's a glitch in their simulator. PFF was talking about it today. They can't figure it out.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's related to them both being on Kentucky.
I think it is.
Weird Kentucky bump.
I don't believe I don't believe those guys ever go in the top 100 in this mock. So I'm saying in the mock, when you do these over and over and over, I don't think they ever do. So again, we've got our corner, we've got our linebacker. Now we can just kind of pick the best player that we see available. And Jamar Johnson is there, who we like a little bit. Eric Stokes, your guy. Milton Williams,
that's
an interesting defensive tackle. Any position you want to go see?
Well, honestly, to me, Milton Williams is the blinking light. I don't know. I mean, because it's a combination of being a need, a defensive interior, and I think he's a second round player in my opinion. So I think if it wasn't, Jamar Johnson's definitely at least from what I see right away the second choice.
Let's go to defensive tackle really quickly. Let me pull.
Yeah, let's look at what else there is.
Because I do agree. I think that's probably where the Cowboys would invest. Our guy Tommy Togiai is still there.
Togiai is still there.
Yep. Marvin Wilson.
This is such a great area for defensive tackles. Every single time I come in, it's like Osa, Bobby, Tommy Togiai are all right there. Milton Williams is not usually there, but I could see a situation where just there's a lot of talent. He could fall. He's a small school guy. I really like Milton Williams, and I think getting him at 75 would be quite a good pick.
Now, I don't know if the Cowboys add two defensive tackles here because I think they have enough numbers. They just need more talent. This is where, and I suggested it yesterday on the show, I would not be surprised if the Cowboys look for a playmaker here because I think you're going to see a lot of guys go from pick 75 to 100. Do you want to look at offensive weapons really quickly?
Yeah, let's look at them.
Yeah. Okay. Wide receiver. Josh Palmer, Kay Johnson, Tylan Wallace, Nico Collins, who I like quite a bit, Simi Foku. It's kind of up and down a little bit. Dwayne Eskridge is interesting if you want some speed. That's probably it at wide receiver. At tight end,
you can almost get all those guys at 99. I feel
I would agree. And I don't think
maybe even Darden.
Yep, I don't think there's a big enough difference. Okay, we're not going to pick him.
There he is.
You can't pick Tommy Tremble in every mock. I do think Brevin Jordan's an option, though.
Yeah, it looks like Tommy Tremble, Hunter Long, Brevin Jordan are all available for tight ends. We took a corner, we took a linebacker. I like Tommy Tremble, but I think let's take Milton Williams. I know it's another defensive interior guy, but I just think that there's a lot of talent there. You can find ways to use all these guys, and you can't have enough talent on the defensive line.
I would agree. I would actually expect the Cowboys to go at that spot. Right? He's just too good of a player. He's too talented. You draft him at 75, and there's probably really no expectations as a rookie, right, Landon? You just put it behind Tristan Hill and Deville Gallimore, and we'll see. Back at picks 99, I want to go back to the offense, guys, really quickly, just because I think it's interesting. Tommy Tremble is there. Brevin Jordan is gone. Tommy Tremble's not going to be there. Don't you worry. No. Wide receiver, Darden, Nico Collins. How about offensive line? You want a developmental offensive tackle? Brady Christensen, Stone Forsythe, who I like a little bit.
Is pretty good. Yeah, I
James
like him.
Hudson, Spencer Brown is very interesting. Deontay Smith.
Smith.
Any of those guys stand out to you?
I think the thing that stands out to me is that I only like Stone Forsythe slightly better than James Hudson. I think there's the tackle class is still stretching. Is what it looks like.
I like Spencer Brown probably the best of those, or Deontay Smith, but that's just that's me.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think if you're not looking for a guy to come in and start right away, you could wait a little bit, and some of the developmental guys are just as good as some of the guys that are here right now. So.
The one position we didn't look at is safety. We don't have a safety that we've drafted. Are you interested at 99 for Jamar Johnson? I do think this is where I feel good about it.
Yeah, I think if Jamar Johnson gets to 99, I think this is a good spot to take him. Okay. I think with that talent, he has stuff that you can't quite coach, and the stuff that you can coach, I think you can get better at. But it's not. It's not one of those things where it's debilitating his ability. I think 99 is probably a great spot to get him.
I would agree. And I think that's almost where the Cowboys would have to go. And it wouldn't even be surprising, Landon, if they opted for Jamar Johnson at 75 over Milton Williams, right? Because they have more of a need. So we'll just finish out this fourth round. Our Kentucky guys are still there.
Jamin Davis. Get Jamin
Davis. I like Stone Forsythe if you're taking him in the fourth round. I'm not sure how much of a developmental offensive lineman he is, but I think he could be a swing tackle in the NFL.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And his talent is good, especially at the fourth round. This is a good pick.
Right. So, all in all, a pretty good draft. However, Landon, is it worth the risk of trying to slide down and get a little cute for just a third round pick? Because that's where it gets really interesting. If there's only three guys that you love there, and you're sliding down 4 spots,
it's a risk. It's getting cute until it works, right? That's the thing is that if you're only holding your breath for those 3 picks, and if you can get past those and you get a guy that you like. Look, we even kind of explored the scenario. What happens if you don't get the guy you like, right?
Yeah.
What happens if that guy, and there's still situations that are, not as good as what you had hoped, but that are you're still getting a lot of good players because of the trade back opportunities, because, you've kind of reached a plateau. So you have moves you can make, even if you get wiped out with your plan of moving back to 13 and hoping that one of those 4 is still there. There are still things you can do that can, you can still really, really improve your defense.
Yeah, that's why I really like that idea, because it just gives you so many more options. It gives you so many more picks. But all in all, Landon, a pretty fun draft. J.C. Horn, Zayden Collins, Milton Williams, Jamar Johnson in the first 3 rounds. Stone Forsythe in the top of the 4th, and then Jalen Darden and Chris Tonga. So I like it. I don't think it's all that unrealistic. It would not surprise me at all if the Chargers want to come up, and maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they offer you a little bit more. Maybe it's 77 and a third round pick in 2022. That wouldn't be surprising at all. So any final thoughts on this mock?
Yeah, in real life, if Sewell's there, I mean, you hold him up. You say, "Look, I'll just take Sewell. I don't. You're going to offer me the trade value chart for this pick when I could pick a guy that I think." And this is what I would say. I think this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. You're going to have me trade away from a Hall of Famer for a measly third round pick.
Right.
You're going to need to offer me more. So I think there is an opportunity to make a little bit more off that trade. But again, you're holding your breath for 3 picks, because if you don't have if you don't have all 4 of those guys at 10 when you trade, it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
So really quickly before we go, obviously, in this scenario, J.C. Horn, Surtain, and Sewell are available. If you had to put a 4th guy in there that you think the Cowboys would be comfortable taking at 13, who would that name be?
I mean, for me, it's Ojulari, or I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either if it was oh my God, not Owe, but the Phillips, Jalen Phillips.
I was saying,
but yeah, I mean, Kwity Paye, you hear his name kicked around as well. I think Phillips is the guy that, if the medicals are cleared for your team, he's probably extremely high on your board.
Yeah.
So I would say, you could say Kwity Paye, you could say Ojulari, you could say Phillips. I think it's probably based on medicals and interviews and all that stuff. Darasaw's probably in play. If you got it, I would say Darasaw's probably in play if you got a nice trade back package, right? Because then you actually have the extra picks you need to.
If you get the second rounder, right? I think if you get the second rounder, because now it's like, okay, hey, we've got 44. What is it? What did I say? 44 and 47.
47, I think.
We can get 2 starters on defense right there. It's not that big of a deal. I would agree with you on that one. So this one was fun, Landon. Maybe we'll have to do one more before the draft. We'll have to come up with a different scenario, but I kind of like it. And if you want the Cowboys to potentially add more picks, you should root for Penei Sewell to fall to number 10.
Absolutely.
That is it for today's show. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you can download and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audacity, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Cowboys. Continue to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. Again, Locked On Cowboys. You can follow Landon at McCool BCB, and I'm at Marcus _Mosher. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.